On October 20th, 1927, Henry Ford grabbed a hammer and a number punch at the end of the Rouge Factory's engine assembly line and with a single blow stamped the first engine for the new Ford car, the Model A. The father of the Model T had finally relented to replacing the car that had put America on wheels. For the first time in nearly 20 years, Ford Motor Company was producing a new car. To mark this milestone in company history, Henry was joined by some of the most important people in Ford Motor Company. They all had played a part in the long-term success of the company and were instrumental in the development of the Model A. Charles Sorensen, a master at mass production, he was responsible for converting the Rouge plant from producing the Fordson tractor to making the Model A and ensuring that the assembly line ran as efficiently as possible. Edsel Ford, the president of Ford Motor Company. No one pushed Henry harder to replace the Model T than Edsel. He was determined to update the styling of the new Fords and work to make the body styles of the Model A as attractive as any other car on the road. Henry Ford. It took years to convince the founder of the company that the Model T had long outlived its place in the market. After much persuasion, Henry jumped right into developing the new car and focused his attention on the new engine and other mechanical components. Peter Martin, one of Ford Motor Company's longest-serving employees. He was vice president of manufacturing and was considered by many to be the world's foremost authority on the moving assembly line. August Degener had been working with Henry Ford since 1902 and the development of the 999 race car. He had stayed with Ford for over 30 years, rising to the title of chief inspector. William Hartner, another long-term employee at Ford, having worked with the company since 1904. He oversaw machine shop operations at the Rouge plant. Henry borrowed a pencil so that he could sign his name on the cylinder head as the group looked on. These men had a lot to be excited about. It had been almost 150 days since Ford had announced that the Model T was going to cease production and that the company would be introducing a completely new car. With assembly plants around the world silent, waiting for the new Ford, the task was no easy feat as the entire world was eagerly waiting to see what the successor to the Tin Lizzie would be. The stamping of engine number 1 was a symbolic first step in restarting the massive machine that was Ford manufacturing, and would eventually lead to nearly 5 million Model A's produced in the next 4 years. The next day, on October 21st, 1927, it was time to assemble the first Model A. While there had been numerous experimental prototype cars built in the development of the new Ford, this was to be the first official Model A. The assembly line is unusually empty in this picture as the single chassis made its way down the conveyor as a small team of workers pieced together the components that made up the car. The initial release of the Model A would see 5 different body styles offered, but the first Model A was a two-door, painted in Arabian sand color. The completion of the first Model A was an important step, but many problems lay ahead that would challenge the great minds at Ford Motor Company. It would be another 45 days before the Model A was introduced to the public on December 2nd, and even then it took months of slow production well into 1928 before there were even enough cars to supply to every dealer. In a bit of irony, the first Model A was not driven off the assembly line by Henry Ford. When offered the chance, he declined, later saying, "I wanted to drive the car off the line, but I didn't know how to drive a shifting transmission." Model A number 1 was driven off the line instead by plant engineer William Clan. With the benefit of hindsight, we are able to see just how extraordinary the Model A was in terms of development, style, and production. Henry and Edsel were able to show the world that Ford Motor Company was still the leader in innovation and production. All of it because of the car that the world and history would refer to as a Model A.
Henry's made a lady out of Lizzie. Not a rattle, not a bit. Lizzie now has lots of it. Henry's made a lady out of Lizzie. There's everything inside her now except a kitchen sink, a mirror, and a powder puff, and a shower bath, I think. They used to keep her with the cow, but gee, you ought to see her now. Henry's made a lady out of Lizzie. Chug, 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 chug.